On this week's show, we're going to take a little trip to Pennsylvania where we're going to talk to a Pittsburgh-based songwriter named Mark Dignam. Stick around. Hey, welcome to Charlie's Open Mic. My name is Charlie Mossbrook. On this week's show, we have Mark Dignam. He is a Pittsburgh-based songwriter. We are here in Pennsylvania, and we're going to talk to him for a bit, but first let's hear a song.
Lay your head against mine. I know it seems a dream now, an eddy in the tide. A starling on its own, corner of your eye. Touch your fingers to the glass, see me on the other side, a ghost that's still alive. We kiss across the wires, fill the gulf with fire. We fill the gulf with fire. Sail on, old times. Sail on, old times. Sail on, old times. Till we reach the shore, till we touch once more. Oh, well, la, da, 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 la, 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 la. Oh, sail on, old times. Sail on, old times. Sail on, old times. Till we reach the shore, till we touch once more. Sail on. Sail on. Sail on.
On today's show, we have Mark Dignam. He is a singer-songwriter. He's located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He moved here a number of years ago from Ireland. Anyways, I'm excited to have him. We did a show last fall together. He's a good guy and a great musician. So I hope you all enjoyed the song that he just performed for you. And let's dig in a little more into who he is before we get into the conversation. He's going to tell you more than I can because he knows himself better than I do.
Possibly. Who knows?
I study your Facebook account daily.
There.
Well, let's talk about your music. Were you a full-time musician in Ireland?
Yeah, for a while, I mean, I've always been kind of up and down, feast and famine. So when the feasts come in, I'm a full-time musician, and when the famine starts, I go take part-time jobs and things like that. Lately, I've been doing full-time work here, and then because things are just tough at the moment. The last couple of years, music has been a tough road. But I consider that my career. I consider music to be my job, and then everything else is just to pay the bills when music isn't.
And did you move directly to Pittsburgh from Ireland then?
I didn't actually. I started off in Connecticut, in Hartford.
Okay.
Nice long rock and roll story for you here. I came over with a small record label it was the record label that put out my first and second album. And we had this big plan that we were renting a big house in Hartford, which is pretty much equidistant between Boston and New York. And so the idea was like we would fill it up with Irish people and tour them, back and forward between those two big Irish capitals. And I had a buddy down here, a guy called Carl Mullen, who went on later to book the World Cafe in Philly. Mm-hmm. He was booking some stuff down here. We had met in London the year before. And so he says, anytime you're in the States, give me a call. So I called him up, and he was bringing me up and down to do openers, put me in front of a whole lot of great people like Richie Havens, David Gray, who else? A handful of other people. Mm-hmm. And then the label I was with went bust in the middle of the whole project. They just couldn't sustain the whole thing. And so my buddy invited me down to Pittsburgh to hang out, lick my wounds before I went home. And, good rock and roll story, met a girl, whirlwind romance, got married, had a couple of kids, and then did the divorce on the other end, just to keep it all rock and roll,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wouldn't be legit if...
have to bookend it, whirlwind romance, rock and roll divorce, it's the whole story. So that's 20 years ago now this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. And your kids are teenagers then, I assume?
Just about, yeah. My son is coming up on 15, and my daughter she'll be 12 in September.
Okay. And are they living with you right now?
50% of the time, yeah.
50%,
yeah.
Okay.
We have shared custody going on, so...
Well, let's jump into modern times here. So you were just you were telling us a little bit about how times have gotten tough for musicians in the Pittsburgh area, or in general. We've shared some gigs, across the country. Crazy Wisdom in Ann Arbor is no longer a gig, and so we're facing.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, we're facing tough times, and who knows what's on the other end of this. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you've been doing musically in the Pittsburgh area, or that you're aware of in the Pittsburgh area, that's been used to help support musicians through this time? And have you been a part of that?
Yeah, well, it's actually funny you should ask, because last night I did something. A guy around here, big supporter of the music scene here in Pittsburgh, a guy called Tim Wolfson. And he did this whole thing where he sold T-shirts. He pre-sold all these T-shirts to people. So here, buy this T-shirt and we'll send you an invite to this Zoom concert. So, so he pre-sold all the T-shirts and, got me a chunk of money to do this show. And so I sat down in front of an iPad and rattled off this show. And then there was another couple of ladies from Michigan. I don't know if you know the Crane Wives.
I'm not sure, no.
Right. They're good. They're really good.
Okay.
So it was like a double feature thing, and people hung out in their homes, drinking their wine or their beer or whatever, watching us do the show. So it was, I think it's kind of a cool idea, even though it was strange to start off doing it. I was like, I've done all kinds of shows over the years, small and big. And this is the first time that I've played in a room to just a screen. Mm-hmm. It was a little strange to start off with. But at the same time, I was like, is this at least the short-term future of music for a while? I don't know. I was definitely glad of it. It was great to have these people piping in and saying, "Hey, we dropped in to see you," and I thought the concept was interesting. Pre-selling T-shirts and getting people to come along.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I've participated in a number of things, but I don't know if anybody around here has gone to that kind of innovation. So it's definitely something we're going to steal.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Pittsburgh has the Steelers, but Cleveland's going to steal a little bit of our own from.
We'll steal all our good ideas. Is that what you're saying?
That's the plan. Did you enjoy doing the virtual concert?
I did eventually. I think it took me about 3 songs to kind of start getting into it. And then what was interesting was that the Zoom thing kind of crapped out.
Okay.
So, we've got a ways to go before that becomes foolproof. Mm-hmm. I think, I don't know what the issue was. Like the thing just muted all of a sudden. And so that was it. I got like 2/3 into my set and then I was done. But I actually, I started getting into it. So I mean, you got to learn to do all kinds of gigs. Mm-hmm. It's the same as you played in that tiny little toilet somewhere in some small town, and then you had to learn how to play bigger stages and even bigger stages or other people's living rooms and all these kind of. You have to learn to do different kinds of gigs. So that's the way I approached it. I was just like, this is a new kind of gig that I've never done. And I gotta learn how to do it.
Are you and you're ready to embrace it now?
I mean, I think I am because I literally think it's going to be something we're going to be doing for a bit. I think it might be a year, it might be 2 years. God forbid, it could be 5. Who knows? I mean, because a lot of venues are going to go under. Mm-hmm. There's going to be less venues to play over the next number of years. So, perhaps in the time that we're all online, that becomes a thing that's parallel to the venues when they get back on their feet. I'm not sure, I'm grasping at straws like everybody else. Mm-hmm. But, I don't hate the idea. I'm willing to try and see how we can be a part of it and see if I can enhance it somehow. And I think, some music fanatic tech genius is going to come and iron out all the wrinkles and get it all up to a point where it's worth tuning into and it's worth, there's no more garbled audio. There's no more messed up this, messed up that. That'll come, because the demand will be there. If this goes on, if this is really protracted, I think somebody will say, okay, because everyone always wants music. We want to play. Mm-hmm. So that's the supply and demand. All you need to do is get the technology together in the middle.
So let's get into some international talk. Well, we started with when you came here and whether or not you were playing music in Ireland. And you became a U.S. citizen about a year ago?
Yeah, I think about a year and a half now.
Okay.
Something like that. Actually, it's probably about 2 years now, coming up on it.
Okay. Are you dual citizenship?
Yep. Yeah.
Is Ireland, they're not part of the EU. They're part of Great Britain?
No, they are part of the EU, yeah.
They are? Okay.
Yeah, so we fought a war about being part of Great Britain.
Okay, sorry.
We decided against it.
Pardon my ignorance.
It's all right.
So as a dual citizen with the EU and the US, are you allowed to return to Ireland right now?
Well, here's the thing, which I think is kind of strange. Technically, yes, I am. Because I'm a citizen, they will allow me back in, which to me doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, if the virus is considered that bad over here, and it is, then it makes me just as suspect as you or any other American citizen. But I think what's supposed to happen is I would go there and I would have to be in quarantine for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I presume if I went, I would have to be in quarantine for 2 weeks on the way back then as well. So, that's a month out of your life. I definitely can't do that. So yes, technically I can go, and no.
Okay.
I won't be doing it.
That'd be exciting. Are there any particular musical projects that you're working on now that you wouldn't have necessarily have worked on before this?
That's a really good question. I've been trying to write about this whole period and not really being able to get it all out yet. I think there's a part of me that feels like there's still some perspective to be gained before I commit anything to paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it's yeah. So yeah, it's a tough one, and I think to be honest with you, I think I'm kind of shell shocked by the whole thing as well. I mean, I just lost my mother recently as well, so
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so it's kind of a very, very strange. I'm on the grief train. I'm on the grief train of where has society gone? Where are we all right now? So I think it's probably that there's a bit of healing needs to be done, and a bit more perspective.
If you appreciate this content, please hit the subscription button below. Please ring the bell for notifications. And you can always visit us at charliesopenmic.com, where you can visit us at our Patreon page and help support the show. And I've been blinded by the mid-morning sun, well, as it rises up above the trees, and it burns away the fog from an early morning rain, and it burns away these thoughts that cloud my mind. And I can see clearly now, and everything is right in front of me, well, like a red-tailed hawk as it glides above the trees. And I can see clearly now, and as the light moves over me, it illuminates a world I've never seen. Well, and that sun gets hot as it burns up in the sky, and we can all use a gentle summer breeze. So I pull my cap down low, well, just above my eyes, and take shelter neath these old, well, shady trees. And I can see clearly now, and everything is right in front of me, well, like a red-tailed hawk as it glides above the trees. And I can see clearly now, and as the light moves over me, it illuminates a world I've never seen. And there are times when it is hard for us to see beyond these troubling times. And I believe that there's a place where we can meet, free from the struggles we all find. And soon the sun will fall beneath an evening sky, well, and the stars and the moon, they will all shine. And we can close our eyes and rest until the dawn, and in the morning we can all rise again. And I can see clearly now, and everything is right in front of me, Well, like a red-tailed hawk as it glides above the trees. And I can see clearly now, and as the light moves over me, it illuminates a world I've never seen. And I can see clearly now, and I can see clearly now, and I've been blinded by the mid-morning sun. Thank you for watching Charlie's Open Mic this weekend. Thank you to Mark Dignam for joining us with a little song and conversation. Please hit that subscription button below. Please ring the bell for notifications. Visit us at charliesopenmic.com, where you can visit our Patreon page and help support the show. We'll see you next week. Thanks.